Hello and thanks for joining me on Zulf Talks. During this episode, I'm going to cover a few topics. How to easily set up a cheap website for a new business. That's my core aim. You're currently thinking about setting up a website. You don't want to spend a lot of money. You don't want to hire someone to do it. You've not got as much coding knowledge, for example, and you just want to be like, I need a website. This video will help you because I'm going to show you how I did this. So I've got a simple website, a single page. It's got all my social medias on there. I've designed it for my podcast. So it's zulftalks.com. I've literally bought it yesterday. I was able to set it up in half an hour. It's live. You can see it. Look at the description notes and you'll see a link to it. You can check it out. And if this is something you want to set up, I spent under $20 setting it up. There are a few caveats. I'm going to give you the information. I'm going to give you two options that you can look at with a third case study with prices. We're going to compare it to another alternative. There's loads of sites out there that offer their own, like, oh yeah, pay $14.99 a month and you get a website. But considering I've got a website now for the domain name I've bought for 2 years, so it's literally cost me maybe $10 a year. In UK that's £16 UK pounds at the moment with the current rates. We're going to have a look at this. I'm going to break it down, so that's why you should watch. I'm going to take you to my screen, and for those listening, I will explain it. So if you're not seeing the screen, you should be okay. And if you can make it to one of my videos, you can go to zulftalks.com, click on the first link. It'll actually bring you to the video of this episode or all of my episodes. I'll explain as I go through this so you can at least understand what we're doing. I've got a website up here. Before you get to this point, you will want to think about what name you want. So the branding, marketing, all of that stuff in your head. Get a notepad, write it all down, think about your ideas, think about a name, make sure it's available, which you can do here as well. Now I'm going to cover two markets. I'm going to give you both examples. If you're in the UK, I would recommend, because I use them and I've been quite happy with them. I'm not sponsored by them. Freeola, which is spelled free as in the word, FREE and then OLA, O for Oscar, L for Lima, A for Alpha.com. It'll be the show notes, you can check it out. I've had one problem since I've been using them for about 9 years now. I've messaged them through chat, very knowledgeable, they answered my question. So that's ultimately my goal. If I have an issue, will that company be able to help me? They were able to help me, sorted it out. So that's why I'm saying check them out. How it works is you go to their website and it says you can check a domain name. You would simply put in a domain name. It will say it's sold because I've got it, but I'll search right now and I'll put in zulftalks.com. It's searching and now it's telling me, oh yeah, sorry, if you're in outside the UK, another good site which I also use, I have two different service providers, is namecheap.com. We'll do a further breakdown further on, but you can actually pick a website. Let's go add to cart. I've picked a website, £8.52 a year, which is UK currency, but in dollars that'd be like $12.43. You would add it to your basket and you go to checkout. Okay, well, it's probably worth me saying this. I'm giving you this as what I did, so you can do your own research, make sure you're happy with it, follow the process as you would do, but it's not advice. I'm giving you it from my point of view, documenting what I did. It might help you. So here we go now. On this page, if you're using Namecheap, it says to you, okay, so how long do you want it for? I said 1 year. It gave me a price of £8.52. If I go for a longer period, because once I buy a domain name, I'm keeping it forever. So I could technically buy it for 5 years, and that's gone up to $58.26. But it depends how long you want it for. So I bought my other one for 2 years, my zulftalks.com, just because I wanted to pay for 2 years in one go. And you can see here, this is a similar thing. It's £17.04 it's telling me. About $26. So that's just the website name. If you buy the website name from a company such as Namecheap or Freeola, you will have the domain name, which would be, for example, in mine, zulftalks.com. So now I've got my website. I've paid for it. That name is mine. There are other elements to this, which I will be covering. So stay tuned. We're going to look at it in more detail, what actually happens to that name. So now all we've actually got is a domain name. So that domain name is just a link to something. You can use that domain name and have a static page, which is what I did. I already have various websites. So let me show you how I did this. If you're totally new to this, you will need to have at least one website. What I mean by that is, if a website you buy is a name, which is a domain name in this example. We will then need to have that domain name point to somewhere where we can store the website. So whenever someone goes to that website, it will link them to a location where your website is stored, gets a copy, shows them the website copy. So technically we need a bit of space somewhere. So that is where the hosting comes in. If you have multiple websites, I've got over, I can't count, that's how many I've got. There's loads of different options that I do, and I have a site for every single thing. I have one main website which I have hosted through Namecheap, and you pay something like $4.95 or $6.95 for the cheapest plan per month, and that would be something that you regularly pay for a spot, a space, and then you can have as many sites pointing to that website as you want. What do? This is where the tip comes in. Firstly, you will need to get at least one website. So think about, okay, my website's going to be zulftalks.com, and that's going to be my main website. I'll go to Namecheap. I will buy zulftalks.com for 2 years. I'll also buy hosting per month, $4.95. And then that hosting, that website allows me to have a website. So if you're currently listening, we've got a page up here, which you can go on your mobile phone if you want to, zulftalks.com. You can see exactly what I'm seeing. Now, this is a simple site. On the top, I've got a little round profile icon. I've got zulftalks.com, and below that, I've got some information about who I am. And then below that, there's links to every single social media, as well as links to my podcast episodes, my YouTube channel, my TikTok, an extra marketing list. So you could technically click on one of these icons and it'll take you there. So if I show you an example, here is one of my marketing lists where you can get information about the gear I use and learn about photography. So that all stems from zulftalks.com, which is that initial name. However, that name can point to other sites. Think of it like a house with rooms. So you've got the house, each room can have whatever it needs to have in there. So my house is zulftalks.com. Each room door points to a different room. This door points to my marketing list. If I go back, another door points to my YouTube channel. So there's a TV in that room and lets you watch my YouTube channel, lets you see. So that goes to a playlist on my YouTube channel with all my Zulf Talks podcast videos, vodcasts. There's a lot of things you can do with this. It's very powerful. You've got your first website name. You've got your hosting sorted. Perfect. WordPress is a great place to go to get a website. So when I mentioned the URL, that was the main Namecheap. Your hosting, Namecheap. They provide gubbins, you could say, for the setup. WordPress, you can go and sign up, wordpress.org. You can create a sample template and have a website ready. And then it's a dashboard. Within that dashboard, it's pretty intuitive. You can go through that and see how to put a page up. You can add posts up. You just need to think about the structure of the website and how you plan to lay it out. Be doing a separate episode explaining structure and how to do that element of it. So if you have any questions, make sure to reach out. zulftalks.com. Leave a voice note. There'll be a button there. You can actually record on your phone and leave me a voice note. I'll hear it. I can even show it on the play it on our episode to say you had a question about this, and I can answer your questions live. So you'll see that how amazing that is. So if you're a creator, you've got one place you're sending everybody. In your example, it'll be your website, it'll be your business name. So in here now, this is really easy for me. zulftalks.com. Check it out. Everything you need to know about me is there. If you need to leave a note, you need to contact me, it's all there. So there's one place you're sending everyone. It's no confusion and nice and easy for everyone. And that helps give you that little bit of a boost. So we've done a quick look at the overall experience of this setup. I've explained some points. I'm going to go into a lot more detail and make it so that you can do the same thing. So we've explained it from the point of view of setting it up. Yes. Now let's look at some of the more advanced information. So the advanced information in this would be, we would get a second domain name. So zulftalks.com is my first domain name. And I decide I want to make a podcast about cameras. So I want to buy zulfphotography.com. So now I would go into if I'm using Namecheap, I'll go back into Namecheap. I tend to stick with who I've got. If I've got a Namecheap or Freola, I use Freola for my UK stuff. For my US stuff, I use Namecheap. I will go into Namecheap again and buy another domain name, zulfphotography.com. I'll buy the domain name, but this time I won't buy hosting because I'm already paying for hosting separately. There are different hosting plans where you can have multiple websites on one hosting, but I pay for a single hosting, and then I don't want to divert people to different websites and make multiple websites. My main website will be zulftalks.com. Just because I have another domain name, zulfphotography.com, Doesn't mean I had to make a whole new website now, because you have 2 places to look after, 2 websites. That's long. I've got about, as I mentioned earlier, countless. I will count them at some point, and I'll make like a full episode explaining every website that I've got. So along these lines, as you're going through this process, you will then get a second domain name, and then you can do something which is quite amazing. Not amazing. If you don't know, it's amazing. If you know, it's like, oh yeah, we know you can do that. But if you're listening to this, you're looking at it from the point of view as someone new coming into this and seeing it. So domain forwarding, it's simply you go into your Namecheap, the new domain you bought, in this example, zulfphotography.com. I'll pay for it, buy it. I'll go into the settings, and it says you can have a domain forwarding. So I will say, you know what? If you go to zulfphotography.com, I actually want you to go to this website. So when someone types in zulfphotography.com, they go to this website. What's that website? It's zulftalks.com/Zulf photography. So now that zulfphotography.com is actually my Zulf Talks hosting website page, an additional page called Zulf Photography. So now that points there, then I save that in my settings, close that off, and then I go to my Zulf Talks dashboard in WordPress, and I create a new post. What do I call the post? Title, Zulf Photography. You got a full page. You can write whatever you need to write in there, save it, and then that website URL would be zulftalks.com/Zulf photography. You can go to that website. However, to make it look nice for customers, zulfphotography.com brings them over here. So you've got one place you're looking after everybody. You can easily have zulftalks.com/moneychat by moneychat.com. Point that to here. So you've got multiple websites, identities, all pointed to one place. You, as business owners, there's one thing that you will know, and that is when you have multiple business ideas, you're I don't like saying that word, entrepreneur. Yeah, you know that word. I don't really like saying it. However, if you are one of those and you like to have loads of fingers in loads of pies, hold loads of pies, then you don't know which of those will be successful. So in this way, you're making the least amount of investment, still getting the bang for buck, you're getting the page, you're getting the details, and then when you see the traffic of which one is doing well, actually, you know what? The Money Chat was doing a lot better than the Zulf Photography. So maybe now I will get Money Chat and make it its own website and make blog posts there. So then I'll have 2. However, justification for that would be, have you had sponsors? Are you doing something there which you would make your money back for, which then you can pay for hosting separately? So that's giving you an idea of how that can work. In addition to that, making it super easy, if you want it just to point to a page like I showed you, this page is actually just a My Links page. It's very similar to if you've used Linktree and the like. However, this doesn't have any advertising on it. It's got your own domain name or the domain name that it points at. In this case, you would see that this domain name actually points to, so if I go down, the domain name is actually trustedcreators.org Zulf Talks podcast. So that's an exact example of what I did. I bought zulftalks.com, pointed that domain name to my Trusted Creators company account, which pays for hosting, and then I have a /Zulf Talks podcast, which then this links to. So for the customer, it's a seamless transition, pointing them to a website which is trusted and has a SSL certificate, which is basically a safety lock to confirm that everything on that website is safe to view. And I pay separately for that in the hosting plan for the original website, trustedcreators.org. So you can see here how, if you've got the mindset, you can easily make this very simple for yourself, help you get through making a new website for your company at a ultra lower price. It's an alternative way of going to Wix.com or going and buying a website, because they'll charge you easily $18-19 a month. That's a month. Whereas here, you can buy a domain name for 2 years for $18 and have one hosting company and do multiple things. So there's more flexibility here. If you're an entrepreneur, whatever that, I don't like saying that word, but if you're one of those, then you've got more freedom of doing multiple things. Now, we promised to look at this in more detail and do a review and comparison. So I've covered a few points there, but what about if you were to go on to Fiverr.com and look at getting a website made for you. Is that like a better way of doing it? Let's check that out. So what I've done right now is gone on to Fiverr, quickly put in a new website as a search. We've got a number of options come up, such as I will design brand new WordPress website for you for $79, $75, $84, $1,000. There's a mixture of options, but you're looking at someone half decent with a few reviews. When I'm saying few reviews, like 428 reviews of 5 stars for this particular user. I'm not endorsing them, I don't know who they are, but it's just, I've done a quick search. About £80, about $120, $110 sounds like the going rate at the moment to set up a website. So that tells me there that there's a potential there for you to either, if you've got enough money, you can pay someone $80 to do that setting up for you, explain to them what you want to do, or show them this video and they'll understand. Or you can save yourself a bit of money, because I was able to set it up in 30 minutes because I already had a website. So now there's a bit of education involved in this. There will be further videos coming from my channel to explain this to you, to make it beneficial for you. So to summarize, we've covered a few points there. You can have a domain name. You will need to initially have website and hosting for one site at least. You can have multiple other domain names pointing to your original site, and that will make you have multiple identities which you can use for different projects. I do podcast, I do photography, I do motorcycling, I do home and lifestyle, and all of those have separate links to go to that page on the site. And that lets me easily, in the right website, when I'm on this social media platform, I'll talk about Zulf Talks. If I'm on other platform, I'll talk about that link and keep it nice and simple. The easier you keep it for your audience, the easily they'll find you, and it's just nice. You need to stay tuned for the next episode. I'm actually going to be covering a bit more information, how to let clients or possible people that want to book time with you to book time with you automatically in their time zone. And that's all free, and let you hopefully use that. So I'm going to see you on that next episode. Zulftalks.com. Let's talk.